Glaciers and glaciations have been rare throughout geologic time, but have changed life on Earth dramatically. Think about the impact glaciers have on landscapes and life, from changing climate to post-glacial landforms. Before glaciers, the climate in the Midwest was mild. As the climate became much colder, large animals like giant bears and beavers, mastodons and mammoths roamed the land. Humans and other life forms had to adapt to the cold. As the glaciers receded northward, the climate warmed again. And what had previously been an ancient river valley was reshaped into 4 lakes around what is now the city of Madison. As the climate warmed and a larger variety of foods became available, indigenous people established settlements in the 4 Lakes area. Ho-chunk villages along the shores of these lakes were home to hundreds of people who farmed, fished, and hunted. In time, traders, trappers, and European settlers came into the area. The glacial till, that mixture of silt, sand, and larger pieces of rock that made up the soil around the Conservancy, challenged European farmers. For decades, farmers removed glacial debris to make plowing possible. Boulders left behind by the glacier were stacked to form the stone fences that dot the landscape. The history of land ownership and productivity of farming at Pope Farm Conservancy is a direct legacy of the glaciation that occurred here. Farming and soil conditions on adjacent landscapes also changed dramatically. Stretching off to the east of Madison, the landscape behind the glacial margin is characterized by low rolling surfaces of till. Historically, the area between Madison and Milwaukee was dominated by unfarmable swamps and wetlands. Wetland drainage over the last century, however, converted this area to farmland with deep black soils. To the west of Pope Farm Conservancy, in the driftless area, the landscape is covered by a blanket of wind-blown silt. During the Wisconsin glaciation, this silt was carried by the Mississippi River. Over time, east-blowing winds picked up the silt and dropped it across the driftless area. Close to the Mississippi River, it is as much as 20 feet thick. Closer to Pope Farm, it is only a foot or 2 thick. This silt forms rich, productive farmland that is intensively cultivated today for corn and soybeans. Glaciation left Dane County with geologic deposits that are now used in building and construction. Sand and gravel were deposited in abundance along meltwater streams flowing away from the edge of the ice sheet. In Dane County, glacial outwash was largely sand and gravel. The gravel is mostly dolomite, mixed with smaller amounts of igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rock. Gravel quarries in the area use this sand and small rock types of gravel to produce materials for construction, such as asphalt, concrete, and roadbed. The relatively thin cover of glacial till in the Madison area also allows for bedrock quarrying. Individual bedrock quarries dot the landscape surrounding Pope Farm Conservancy and the city of Madison. Similar to gravel quarries, bedrock is crushed to make aggregate for construction materials. Sandstone was quarried for building stone, and you can see many old farmhouses and buildings that were built from locally quarried sandstone blocks. Who knew that glaciers and glaciation would be so amazing, so full of impacts, gifts, surprises, and a few challenges too? Today, we enjoy the beautiful bounty of this land, once covered by massive amounts of ice, and it's our responsibility as stewards to care for it wisely.